Brilliant speed with vibrant service. Vibrant broadband internet.
Look at that. I even got them started a minute early today. Oh, boy. The show is on the air. It's Vibrant You.
Yeah, welcome to Vibrant You Live. Hey.
Hey.
Thanks for having us, Jeff. My name is Shane.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Bo.
And the holidays are over.
Yes, sir. Well,
So-
some of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the big holidays anyway.
The ones with vacation.
And so January can sometimes feel a bit dull. But we make New Year's resolutions, and, how many people really stick to those? Do you have any, Jeff?
I don't make them anymore. No,
Yeah, I
haven't
don't either.
made
How
them
about-
in 20 years.
I don't.
No? Bo?
Mine is actually to floss more than never. So I'm doing pretty well. I did it once. No, that's not true. I went to the dentist and they did it, so I don't think that counts.
Well, that counts. I would say that counts.
I'll count it.
Well, don't put pressure on yourself. Forget about that. Forget about the pressures of New Year's resolutions. Use this month to learn something new. So that's what this episode is all about.
So January is, I think, in my opinion, it's a hard month. You're cleaning up the Christmas stuff, and you're eating the last of the required leftovers and the cookies, right? And you're just
Other
feeling,
than the fruitcake.
right? And you're feeling kind of blah. And, take time to just breathe, relax, take a chill pill, just hang out. The other thing is the weather. It's kind of that dark, sunny, no sun,
Right.
Yeah.
and gloomy. So it's just like, make January fun, learn something new, get a hobby, that kind of stuff. So for me, my hobby that I want to engage in a little bit more is I love taking pictures of sunsets and the different trips that we've been on, Montana or Mexico or Australia. There's some pretty amazing sunsets there, and I wanted to kind of do like a collage of that. So now it's about figuring out where the photos are and where I want to put them and how big, that kind of stuff. And just kind of appreciate my slow time in a sense.
Sure.
And then the other thing is garden season. I love gardening. And about this time of year, I end up getting my book for my garden about the different types of tomatoes and all these. I'm a nerd. Yes, I'm sorry.
No, but I see those magazines show up.
And it makes me
just
so
time of year.
happy. It makes me happy because then I read the description, I get really excited, and then I start planning out and plotting my garden of where I want to put them and what I want to do, and it kind of puts me forward to like April, May instead of
Well,
the
and a lot of
dreary.
people do that in-house stuff, and they're planting stuff right now.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yep, absolutely. So Shane, how about you?
Yeah, well, a few years ago, and maybe about 10 or 12 years ago, I got into making wine. And my first gallon of wine I made was in a glass gallon jug. And I used a balloon. I threw some Welch's grape juice in there, some extra sugar, some yeast, and put a balloon on top, and then the balloon swells up.
Yep.
You put a little pinhole in.
Done. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hobo wine is kind of what they'd call it, right?
Yep. That's exactly what I did.
It turned out pretty good, right? And so since then, I did some research, and then I've started making mead. I got a fermenter, and I was able to make like 3 gallons at a time of mead.
So explain what's mead.
So mead is basically wine made out of honey. So you just take honey, water, and you don't even use sugar because the honey is
Honey's
the
got
sugar,
plenty,
right?
yeah.
And yeast, and you let it ferment, and that's it. And so then you could add different things like blueberry.
Maybe a
I think we
little
need to
flavor.
go
Oh,
to
yeah.
Shane's house.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So
So
mead-
makes beer too, right?
Well, yeah, and so that's my new one, right? So beer is kind of my newest hobby, beer making, and I bought something called a year ago called a pinter. And what it is, it's a vessel that I know.
Yeah, no kidding.
you brew the beer in it, you condition the beer in it, and then you throw a tap handle on it, and you can serve the beer from the same vessel. It's kind of like the Keurig of beer making.
Oh, boy.
So that's been a fun hobby of mine. My wife's taken up canning, and canning, you can do any time of the year. She's actually bought the industrial-sized cans of tomatoes,
okay.
and then turn that into spaghetti sauce, pizza sauce, even manwich sauce and things like that. So that's something that she does in the wintertime that can keep busy and things like that. So there's some good ideas. Bo, how about you?
Well, I've always been a big coffee drinker, but about a year ago, I got an espresso machine, and I just wanted to try something different, and have been kind of just playing around with that. And then recently, I just saw a couple of YouTube videos on like things you can add to your machine, different types of beans. There's whole different like baskets you can put in, different grind settings. So I've gotten really into just kind of trying to make the espresso and the drinks I get at Starbucks or at like a local coffee shop and be like, well, I'd rather not like spend $7 every time I want one of these. So trying to make it at home, which it's been very fun. And I think it's a bad combination of, if you're tasting a bunch of espressos, you're going to get a little hyper, and then you're going to go on Amazon and buy a bunch of stuff. And then the cycle repeats itself. My latte art's pretty weak. I can make one design, and it's like a blob on the top of the cup, so it's a bit abstract.
Sure.
So I have a lot of work to do. But yeah, that's been my new hobby. Jeff, how about you? Do you got any new hobbies or old hobbies that you're into?
Well, I don't know if they're really hobbies per se. Maybe just more projects that I had been putting off on a list somewhere, and I've accomplished 2 of those, and I've got a couple more that I want to get done before we really kind of get into the melting season. So it's just more projects for me.
Okay, yeah,
Sure.
it's just not being bored in January,
Yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then another thing that's very new to me is my wife is due at the end of February, and so I've gotten to know the difference between every single stroller and car seat and crib. There's a term, it's called Green Gold Guard Certified. That means it's safe apparently, which means it's also more expensive. And so I've gotten a lot of. I think my wife's done more research on that than she did on anything that she's ever done. So it's been fun, but there's a lot of options. So it's kind of like a new hobby in its own right.
You know, back in the day, we didn't even have car seats. I mean, I remember we all survived, right? And then people would either put their arm out like you just did, or my mother-in-law would put a sash around her son, so that way in the event that they had to stop suddenly, he wouldn't fall into the
Really?
But we all survived, so it's all good. So recently, I think I have told you guys that I purchased a new home, and we are making that home smart. So I am not the most techie person. I mean, the guys around me are amazing, and so my job is to want to just do a little bit more. And we have everything. It's like from cameras to the garage door to the oven and the microwave and the washing machine. I mean, everything in that house is, and smoke detectors. I mean, everything is getting smart. So I need to jump on the bandwagon too, right? The other thing is, recently, Lauren's a New Year's Eve baby, so she turned 21. So we, as a family, went to Vegas, of course. Where do you go when you turn 21, right? So before I did that, I did a whole bunch of research and, planning a trip. So I just kind of went on YouTube videos and looked at, what's inexpensive to eat and where do you go. And then obviously when you're on that, social media picks up on everything. So, on my Facebook, I was getting, there's some underground secret places to go for bars and whatnot, and then they'd show you how to get in and that kind of stuff. So it's just different to look up information. That everything is so much readily available, and in fact, I utilized Chat GTP to put together like a pub crawl for Lauren when starting out, and they were talking about go to this bar and they have 2-for-1s during this time, and here's your specials, and then even for food, if you go to Tony Roma's from 9:30 to 11:30, you get prime rib for this price, and that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of options out there for that.
I'm learning something new this month too, and that's using some AI tools, and not just for my job, but for hobbies as well. One of the things I've been playing with is called Notebook LM. That's a Google product, and it's where you can put your sources into a notebook. You create your own notebook, and then you interact with those sources alone through the chat bot. And it's very interesting. The other thing is resources. So how do you find out about these things and learn something new? Well, YouTube, of course, is a big resource. The only thing is be careful with YouTube, because you can start going down rabbit holes, and pretty soon you're off into never land and kind of off on the subject that you started with. Amazon's a good resource as well. They've got a lot of books and, of course, supplies. That's where I've ordered some of my brewing stuff. And masterclass.com, which is a specific website that it focuses on different, learning new skills. And that is a subscription service, but it's well worth it if you are focused on, like, say, you want to learn how to play guitar, things like that. So that's a great way to, a great resource to learn. Bo, you talked about some apps.
Yeah, there's quite a few apps. One of these I've actually used is called Duolingo, and that's if you're trying to learn another language. Khan Academy is if you're trying to learn something involved with math, science, little different type of language. And then Skillshare is if you're into drawing, design, music, photography. There's a lot of, it's kind of multiple ways to improve and just kind of get some ideas if that's something that you're into. And then there's tons of cooking apps. Tasty is one of them. And these are all things you can just download on your phone, on your iPad, just kind of take a look, figure out if there's something interesting on there for you. And then Facebook is great. Facebook groups. Personally, I actually prefer Reddit. So if you're looking at, there's pages that you can go for, like for instance, mine, there's an espresso page. You can go to that page and type in basically anything, and there's going to be just relatively normal people with responses and they give like,
wired.
They're all wired on espresso anyway, so they give like pretty long explanations on a question that would be maybe harder to find elsewhere, but they're a little, if you're looking for like a specific type of, filter for this basket, that's where you would go to find it. So Reddit's been really, really helpful. And like Shane said with YouTube, you can go down the Reddit rabbit hole. So you may want to limit the usage a little bit.
Another one is either podcasts or audibles. I know, we do a lot of traveling, driving back and forth to the cities, or, if you're working out, or if you are taking a quick break at work, these are great opportunities to just quick listen to a podcast about something that you want to learn about, or an Audible, like if you want to listen to a book on something, those are some great resources. And then local shops, if you are looking at getting local foods, utilize the resources in our area. Books, supplies. I was referencing the Dewey Decimal System way back then. So the local library is still awesome. There's a lot of hands-on tools. Go there, check out the resources and what they offer. Those are great tips.
So to do this, you need kind of a plan of action, right? Don't just willy-nilly start watching videos, because all you're going to be doing is watching videos.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, you can learn things, but you don't learn them and retain them as if you're actually doing them. It's kind of like you can watch a football game, but you really don't know what it means to be a football player unless you play the football game. So a plan of action is first define your goal and commit. So write down what you want to learn and why. Set a realistic time frame, like 3 weeks or 3 months, and then commit to a schedule. Second is choose one primary source, a beginner course, a YouTube channel, not all of YouTube, but like somebody that I really like how they do this, and follow that channel. Do one book and maybe one app like Duolingo, like Bo was mentioning, and don't just binge watch a bunch of videos. But here's where you might use an AI tool like Notebook LM, but that's for another show. But yeah, you put all these sources in one spot, and that's kind of what you use as a guide to learn something new. And then schedule practice and track progress. So block out time for hands-on doing. Not for watching videos, but the actual doing your hobby, the project. Keep a log or a journal and track down the progress. And then stay accountable. Find a local group or an online group and then join that. and then they, share your progress and ask questions, amongst the community. That the support keeps you motivated. So the idea is to get moving and to keep you from having the winter blots. So you need a plan of action.
The other thing that I forgot to mention too is the community ed program. They always send out booklets, and they have some really
another great
good
source.
Yep, they have some. I took a beginner photography class there, and there's some great fun things to do that are onesie twosie things, and you meet people with the same interest too, so then you can collaborate on that as well.
Yeah, it's a great way to meet people. Like picking up, I think my dad picked up pickleball, and now he's got a group of 10, 15 guys that he hangs out with, and all these hobbies. You'll meet people that are like-minded, going through, looking at the same thing, have the same interests, and it's just it's a fun way to kind of keep stimulated, keep interesting, and you never know. You'll maybe find something that you're really talented at if you're in the process, and you also might be embarrassed and find out that you're really not good at guitar. So you never know.
But
I know that
makes
already.
perfect.
Just don't put it on a YouTube or FaceTime.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So speaking of learning, and we are back at it again. So if you are interested in learning more about streaming, we are having our first 2026 class. It's going to be on Wednesday, January 28th at the Meeker Energy Building, and it's Dreaming of Streaming. Starts at 5:30. So if you have questions on how to stream, what you need to stream, basically what subscriptions you're looking for to stream, that is the class for you. So come on out on that. If you have any questions about what we talked about today, or questions in general about Meeker Energy or Vibrant, give us a call at 693-3231, or learn about us at vibrantbroadband.com, and then listen live every Wednesday at 10:30
Live.
KLFD.
Live, yes. Thank you, Jeff, for having us.
You got it.
Thank you, audience, for listening. My name is Shane.
I'm Jane.
And I'm Bo.
Tune in next week for another Vibrant You Live.
Brilliant speed with vibrant service. Vibrant broadband internet. Vibrant broadband internet.